So, news came out this morning. It's about a fighter that I actually mentioned in my previous video. It is Magomed Ankalaev. The news is unofficial that he will be fighting Johnny Walker in Abu Dhabi this October. So, if this proves to be true and the UFC officially announces the fight, I have very mixed feelings about it for obvious reasons. Given the fact that he fought Jan Blachowicz for the title. Quick recap. So he fought Jan Blachowicz for the title. I believe it was the ending of last year. And they were fighting for the vacant title, light heavyweight title. That ended up in a draw. So it was controversial. There's some people that even said Jan should have won the fight. But I think the majority of the folks, like myself, think that Magomed was actually robbed in that fight. I think he won that 3-2. That's my opinion. So I think he was robbed, and the whole landscape of the division would have been much different if he had won the title, right? Then he would have proceeded to defend the title rather than fight now Johnny Walker. Like many months later, he's fighting Johnny Walker, if that proves to be true. So in that situation, if he did win the title, hypothetically, Jamal Hill would have been fighting would have been the top contender, right? Winning versus Jan Blachowicz, that would have been the top contender fight. So you see how that goes. Everything would be vastly different. In that regards, if this fight does happen, so obviously, given the skill set that Magomed has, and he's shown over the years, I think he's a much better fighter than Johnny Walker. I think this should be an easy win for him. He should go through him easily. With all due respect to Johnny Walker, I mean, he came into the UFC with a bang. He either shows up, he brings the knockouts, or he just loses badly. That's what he has shown so far. However, he had the last couple of good fights, definitely, and he always has a puncher's chance. Definitely, this is why we love the sport. He could still knock him out, and that's the beauty of this sport. That's why we all love MMA. So in that regards, yes, I think he would be a winner of that fight. So, but then again, if he wins, what's next for him, right? He should be fighting for the title, but at the same time, if this fight is formally scheduled, I think it's all lined up that the title fight or the light heavyweight championship of the world will be between Alex Pereira and Jiří Procházka. Now, out of all the people in this conversation, if there's one person that deserves the fight for the title, that's definitely Jiří Procházka. So the guy was injured, right? He had the title, he got injured, and what he did, he relinquished the title. He did the fair thing, right? He didn't hold up the division. He decided to just relinquish the belt, and that's how we got into that episode of Jan Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, and then eventually Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill, bringing him the title, and then himself relinquishing the title. So in that sense, the light heavyweight division had the most champions out of any division in the past years, and a lot of unfortunate injuries. So going back to my point, if anybody deserves it, it's definitely Jiří Procházka. He did the right thing. He relinquished the belt. He's now recovered. Actually, we don't know that yet. It hasn't been confirmed, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So he definitely deserves, if he's fit, if he's ready to fight, if he's ready to go, he should be fighting for the title. There's no question about it whatsoever. Now, the new person in that story and how it's all lining up to be is Alex Pereira, who just 2 days ago beat Jan Blachowicz. Some people say not convincingly, but he beat him, and I think he deserves the title shot. Having said that, so in the post-fight press conference, Alex Pereira talked about his plan. What is he planning to do, right? So he said, I have one fight. I want to fight one more time in the light heavyweight division. That's what he said. I'm quoting. And then I have unfinished business in the middleweight division. Meaning he wants to go down to middleweight and do the trilogy with Adesanya. It sounds like a good plan. It sounds very doable, but I think in order for that to happen, in order for Adesanya to agree to this, he first has to win the next fight, which will be for the title. he has a position, a power as a champion of the light heavyweight division. He can then call the shots, and I think he will be able to get that fight. Then again, what does Adesanya really have to, if that happens? Well, what will Adesanya respond to this? That will be the crucial thing. How does he respond to this? Will he respond now, or will he wait for that light heavyweight fight at the title to happen? Right? Will he wait to see what happens? That's for us up to see. And then the question then is, will Adesanya actually make a counter proposal? Will he fight him at the light heavyweight? Right? It's not uncommon. It wouldn't be a surprise if he does that, because he has everything to win if he fights at light heavyweight Alex Pereira. If he wins, he settles the score then once and for all. It will be 2-1 in UFC. Overall, it would be 3-2, but it won't matter at that point. He has 2 wins in a row then, and he beat him in 2 divisions. I think that will definitely settle score between all of us. So he has everything to win, but it's a much higher risk, and he would be the underdog, obviously, a light heavyweight, given that Alex Pereira is a big dude. He's a big guy. He's a really, really big guy. He would be even a heavyweight, technically, right? Adesanya, when he fought last time at light heavyweight, he showed up at his own natural weight, which was 190 and some change. He didn't even reach 200 pounds, let alone 205 pounds. So that size advantage and the fact that Alex did not gas out in the previous fight would make him a big favorite to win it. Then again, would Alex agree to that? So there's a lot of questions, a lot of equations that can happen in this scenario. And it's very interesting to see how everything will unfold. So, first of all, I definitely think that Alex Pereira would have to win the next fight at light heavyweight. 100%. Before we raise any other questions, he has to win that fight. If he does, they book the trilogy at middleweight, it's going to sell really well. That's going to be fight for the ages, definitely. And he would have to make weight. It seems like that's not an easy task for a 230-pound man to go down at 185. He does it, but how many times can he really do it? Can he do it one more time? That is the question. He does sound confident. And speaking of Jiří Procházka, so if he does fight Alex Pereira, it's going to be a tremendous fight. No question about it. He's an orthodox fighter versus Alex Pereira, who's a beast of a man. It will be really a really, really good matchup. Now, the biggest question regarding Jiří Procházka is, how did he recover? Did he fully recover from the shoulder injury? Just as a quick reminder, the UFC doctor said that's one of the worst injuries he ever saw on a man with that kind of shoulder injury. So there was a lot of questions about that injury because, sure, he doesn't have to show the x-ray. He didn't show anything that's confidential medical matters. But the fact that some sparring footage, it wasn't sparring footage, some footage of him training showed up not that long after the injury, right? So it was, I'm not sure that the timeline, but it was like 5 to 6 months, maybe even shorter after that worst injury in a lifetime. He did have some training footage and he looked pretty good. It looked like there was no surgery on his shoulder. Now, we'll see. We'll see how he shows up. Is he fully recovered? And what will he bring to the table for Alex Pereira? No question about it. If he's fully recovered, he stands a pretty good chance. He can win. He can win the title once again. And that will make a whole different landscape then of things and events and what will occur. So then you might even have Adesanya calling out Jiří Procházka because he wanted that belt, right? Regardless of Alex Pereira, regardless of Jan Blachowicz, whoever holds it, he did show interest in being a double champ. He wants to be a champ. Especially also given how hard it is to book a fighter for him right now. He's also waiting for a fight in the middleweight division. It was supposed to be Dricus, and it seems like Dricus doesn't want to do it on such short notice. He's not even injured, or he might be injured, but I think it's more the fact that it's only 5 weeks notice. Then again, we have Sean Strickland, who's supposed to fight Adesanya, but that seems to be not happening for some reason. I think he went out publicly. Sean Strickland said he doesn't even have a passport. He can't fly to Australia, and he can't get a passport even if he wanted to right now this quickly, even if it was expedited. So it seems like fight between Adesanya and Strickland is not happening. So yeah, I just can't wait for everything to be formally announced. But if this is how it plays out, we will have the fight between Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker in October. And probably by the end of the year, before the end of the year, we will have the announcement of then, in that case, Jiří Procházka versus Alex Pereira for the title and light heavyweight championship. Let me know what you guys think. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.